Like
All right, I'm back, yo. I had to blow that motherfucker up, man. Kind of like Pop on motherfucking Friday. He blew that toilet up. All right. All right.
Y'all want to start at
All right.
15?
All right. I'm on the podcast now. All right.
Y'all want to start at 1:15?
Oh shit! I didn't know. I didn't know I was. I thought I was muted the whole time.
yeah, Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Highly Advised Podcast. This is episode 37, and you are checking in right now with me, Spence, my boy Lau, and Nigel. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's good? What's popping? I think you made a little error, my guys. Episode 36, but that's okay because you're thinking in the future.
Big facts.
Yeah, man, you're thinking of the future, so it's okay. You know, that's why you get that pass. You know what I mean? But if it was another nigga, I don't know if he would have survived. So it's your
style.
Yeah, man, it's your boy Big Cozy, Too Cozy, you know what I mean? Shouts out to my amigos, you know what I mean? They the motherfucking Padres of this game, you know what I mean? If you speak in that Spanglish, you know what that means. You know, I'm doing good. Aljo, how you doing, man?
Oh man, not so bad, not so bad. It is relaxing Noji_Jackson. I am here with my friends this week. It's been another good week. The Steelers are 10-0. You know, the sun is shining. Went to the gym, came home. We're doing this on a late night, a little bit later in the week, but we are here to bring y'all a show. How are you guys doing this week?
I can't really call it, man. It's Thanksgiving weekend, Thanksgiving week, holiday week. Thanksgiving is approaching.
Holiday season.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a classic, man. holiday season. Hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all though, I can't complain. It's been a good week for me so far. I can't wait to see what's going to come of this week, definitely with the holiday season. And on top of it, like I've been still lingering around trying to absorb this whole Gucci versus that we watched over the last week. So how about yourselves?
Yeah, man, most definitely. I'm excited to talk about the Gucci stuff. And I know you guys are as well. But, you know, I think Christmas season has started, right? Fuck Thanksgiving because nobody gives a fuck about Thanksgiving. But Christmas season has started. And for some people, they love that shit. You know, you already see some people houses already Christmas trees, lights, all sorts of shit already put up. And then, you know, some people are kind of like, man, here we go again. I got to buy mad gifts and shit and lie about Santa Claus, you know, all sorts of fucking whatever. But with that being said, I look forward to the holidays because I like giving back. You know what I mean? Due to humble beginnings and et cetera, et cetera. I look forward to it because I like playing the role of Santa Claus. I like helping out people and all that stuff. So the holiday season holds something different to me versus other people. You know what I mean? So,
right.
What about you, the great Nigel?
Oh, well, you know, Thanksgiving is going to be kind of nice for me this year. I'm going to go see my mom, and we're just going to sit down. We're going to have some food. We're going to enjoy each other's company. I might go see my dad, too. I actually saw my dad yesterday. And shouts out to my dad. He is now official listener of the podcast, so he'll be hearing this.
Shouts out to the OG.
Yeah, tell Eugene that y'all said what's up, you know, because that's his name. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on with you, man? How's it going? Thanks for
How you
listening.
doing? Yes, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you for
Mr. Jackson.
Yes, thank you for birthing an egg-headed nigga.
But not. So,
I'm just playing, Mr. Jackson.
Yo, his dad about to pull up.
Now, my dad actually said that.
Which one of y'all said that about my son? I mean, if neither one of y'all want to say it, we could all get busy right now.
Nah. So funny enough, my dad actually enjoys the show. He thinks we're all funny, and he says that we sound intelligent. So
I like that.
Yeah, it's not so bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, on a serious note, for real, thank you, Mr. Jackson. We do appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Jackson. I really do appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Thanks. We're glad to have you as a new follower, you know? And can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to see you along this journey with us. You feel me? And thanks for giving us Nigel. You feel
Yeah.
me? Because there's no relaxing Jackson without Gene. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. without the old G, literally. No, that's funny.
For real.
but not. but for real though, my dad listens to the show, so shouts out to him. He was over here yesterday. And it was just crazy, like, because my dad, he's what I can say, being a man in his late 20s, seeing my dad, he's grown a lot, and definitely shouts out to him, and shouts out to him for also coming up and watching the Steelers game yesterday. We won. We are still undefeated. We
It's not even like y'all did something important yet, man.
there's only been 18 teams, I think they said, in the past 100 years to ever make it 10-0.
And you're just getting to the last year of the 100. Whoop-de-doo. Okay.
It's season 101, and we are now 10-0. We beat the Jaguars, and the Jaguars, of course, they're not like some team that really be like, ooh, we beat them. But like, it's still
Don't
a
tell me
big
when
deal.
y'all get a ring, man.
Hey, we have 6 of them, so it's all good.
No, tell yo. You playing old stuff right now, man. You talking about old stuff. Tell me some current rings, man. You talking about old rings.
I'll tell you current news about the NFL. I can
tell me about Big Ben, man.
Not even. I'll tell you about Joe Burrow, who's out for the season with a torn MCL, ACL, and structural damage to his knee.
Gosh.
Yep.
Jeez,
Let me tell you, man. And I like Joe Burrow, and he's in my division, and I like him. He's nice. He's good, and I hope to God that he can come back from this injury, because he's on a shitty team. I told Lau, I was like, look, I would have did like Bo Jackson. My dad brought up Eli Manning. He was about to go to the Chargers. He said, fuck that, and went straight to the Giants. I personally would have took the same route, because if you're that good, you don't need to be on some bum ass team. Like, why?
I think he chose the Bengals because his family is from Ohio and they wanted to be kind of close. So yeah, so I don't. For those reasons, I don't blame him. He's a rookie quarterback. Blah blah blah. But if he's looking to get a ring, get some hardware on his fingers, yeah, Cincinnati is not the spot. Nor Cleveland.
Absolutely not Cleveland. And it's weird because I'm just watching the way the playoffs are kind of shaping up as far as like teams go, and the Chiefs are of course still touted to be like the team to beat. Unshockingly so. But then you have the NFC East. I think your division is, Lau.
Yep, NFC least.
And I think the highest amount of wins that y'all have is 4.
Nope, not even. We're all tied with 3 wins.
Oh, so y'all all have 3 wins at the moment.
All have 3 wins. And the only reason why the Eagles are in first because they're 3-6-1 and not 3-7 like the other, losers.
So how does that make you feel knowing that you're still in it, and with like maybe 1 or 2 wins, you could be in the playoffs?
So let's just separate reality from fantasy, right? And I'm gonna jump on the fantasy bandwagon. Imagine if not only we clinch the division, we go to the Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
What a
That would be ridiculous, man.
Come on.
That's a Cinderella story of all Cinderella stories, man.
That's just not
for
happening.
real. For real.
No way in hell.
Imagine if y'all going to win and beat like the Steelers, like undefeated Steelers.
Man. But you know what though? I don't think we'll make it to the Super Bowl undefeated. I hope we do. Don't get me wrong. Like I hope we go 16-0, but I don't see us doing that. We got to face the Ravens again today by the time the listeners hear this, and hopefully we win. I saw that 2 of their running backs had COVID. Shouts out to God. And you know what I mean?
You're wild.
In all seriousness, I hope that they are better. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure they will be. But of course I'm rooting for the Steelers. Why wouldn't I be?
It's your team.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt the same when Dak Prescott got all fucked up. I'm like, damn. I hope my nigga could get his knees repaired, but hey, man, still fuck the Cowboys. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's I could have cared when Andy Dalton got fucked up. I'm like, damn, I hope his career is short, but hey, man, we whipping their ass. Fuck the
Hey,
Cowboys.
it is what
You
it
know what I
is.
mean? We don't want no players hurt. You know, we don't want their careers shortened. We definitely, you know, God forbid, knock on wood, we don't want them to lose their life on the field.
Jesus, that's like the
But
worst case scenario.
yeah, that's why I said God forbid.
Yeah,
But
facts.
you know, we want them to lose still. Hey, and if a couple of motherfuckers is tearing ligaments and shit, hey man, that God got to play for everybody, man. So
Hey man, shouts out to all the players that are drafted the bad teams and the players that are drafted the good teams but are still injured. They all need help and prayers and whatnot. And speaking of people who got drafted, the NBA draft happened recently. Wow, do you have any updates since you are the NBA correspondent for us?
I like that, man. It's like we a hood version of ESPN or some shit. But no, I'm not going to deep dive into it or whatever like that because Nigel was saying this throughout the week. The NBA draft this year, I mean, mainly due to COVID, a lot of the draft prospects, they're, unproven, unhyped. Some of them didn't even fucking get to play in college, really. You know what I mean? So, because the college basketball season got cut real short and shit. The biggest story out of the draft is, of course, the youngest Ball brother, LaMelo Ball, going to the Charlotte Hornets, the same team where Michael Jordan owns, And other than that, man, it's just, I said the same thing about Zion when he was drafted. He's exciting. He looked exciting. And Duke, he was basically a man amongst boys, even though he's like 19. We'll see how the NBA season. Now, Zion, he's proven himself. He's NBA level. And same thing, we'll see what LaMelo Ball, is he NBA level or is he just a hype job? So we will see. That's all I have to say about that part.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, I think it's going to take time to see if he is going to live up to the hype. More than likely, hopefully he has some advantage compared to some of the people that he's in the draft. He was in the draft with, being that his brother was actually his brother played for the Lakers at some point, so he has like some familiarity with professional level training. So hopefully
Yeah,
that
fair.
works for him. But I mean, I think the plus side to it is we get a season 2 of LeVar Ball.
Yeah, no, you're right. And are you gonna buy his shoes this time?
Did anybody get the shoes from the first time?
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
Oh,
a
you
few
got 'em?
podcasts. No. Fuck, come on. if I got that, then I got Dr. Umar's book. So
I thought you did.
Yeah. Listen,
What chapter you
I
on?
ain't judging you.
if I did, man, it'd be all over Instagram because it'd be like the person that found a fucking unicorn. So
Wow.
Yo, I seen a video. I was watching one of these videos compilations of his, right? And he had taken like 6 women out to eat, and he was like, "Yo," and you know who's paying for this? The donation fund.
Yep.
And
I
pretty
saw
much
that.
told him, "Yo, yeah, all of y'all are pretty much all." And then told him, "All of y'all are paying for yourselves, pretty much."
Hey
And I was
man,
like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "This is very interesting."
shouts out
The
to
saga
Dr.
continues with Dr. Umar. Shout outs to him.
Were you about to say something, Lyle?
no, it would be a rant. So I'm staying quiet on this one.
I was waiting to see if Shaq West was going to get drafted so I could hear him yell a bitch from the sidelines, but that apparently will not happen. Oh, no, actually, he's playing in the European League, I think.
Oh, he went to the European League now.
Yeah, some shit like that. He's in some league over in Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Are you sure?
really?
Are you sure that you're not confusing it with what you seen with this rap video?
Hold on, let me look it up. So I'm not
Because I came off to me as a marketing ploy, right? I'm not saying the dude can't play. I mean, the guy could play, but nobody's ever talked about Shaq West joining the league until he put that post up.
Shaq West signs with Division II French basketball team, so he'll be yelling bitch somewhere in the world. So there you go.
Hey man, more power to him though. I mean, like he's doing what he has a passion for, which is playing basketball.
I didn't know he cared that much.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
mean-
he was trying to be a rapper.
Nah, well, apparently he actually was a basketball player first, and then he got into modeling, and then he became a rapper. And because he was on the AAU team with like Mo Bamba, that's where like that song came from.
Yeah.
The song back that came out a couple years ago. that was based off the fact like his best friend is Mo Bamba, who ended up being in the draft and plays for Orlando. So he played ball just like anybody else. He played ball for years, and then he ended up just not he taking a different route. Long story short, became a rapper down the line. So that's just like you got a couple rappers that are actually like supposedly nice. Like I heard Lil Durk is actually nice at ball.
Quavo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quavo was like is a triathlete.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. He used to play football in high school, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he played football and basketball, and I think he might did track or some shit also.
I wonder how like these like rappers and like artists get so like athletic. I mean, I guess they just play sports like a regular person does. Like they said, Metro Boomin was actually like a acrobat or some shit like that.
I think
That's
that was a
interesting.
lie. I think that was a lie. I don't think that was really him. I watched that
That
video.
looked like him.
It looks like him, but I can't. I doubt that's Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin being doing something in like acrobats is not far fetched, but it's one of those things that would have surfaced by now and would have like I feel like would have caught steam.
Did you see the video of Gucci doing splits?
That's not Gucci. Come on.
Yo, come on, yo.
That's not Gucci.
Don't disrespect Gucci like that. Man. Don't
That shit
disrespect
looks
Gucci
so
like that.
funny. Oh Jesus!
I had
They
to
said-
turn that mess off, yo. I had to turn that off.
I'm like, that's not WAP. That's the clone right there.
They
Yeah,
said that
exactly.
Valentina was doing some dances after she won at UFC 25 this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, like, what is there much to say when it comes to Valentina? I like Valentina. Right now, she's my favorite female fighter because I just think she's a killer for real. But when she was fighting Jennifer Maia, people were going crazy that the fact that she lost the second round. And it just reminded me of, our conversation when John Jones didn't have the greatest performance against OSP. People were like, oh, he's falling off. He doesn't got it no more. But they're ignoring the fact that, OSP clearly clearly he was taken to school, basically.
Exactly.
So that's the same thing with the Valentino fight. Yeah, she happened to lose a round and she made a mistake. That's okay. But if you watch the rest of that fight, she was cracking that girl. The girl had she had cracked lips after the fight. Her nose looked like a train track all over the place and shit. So like Valentina was still beating her ass and all that. And people were complaining like, well, why is she taking her down? Because she's doing whatever the fuck she wants to her. Just like Amanda Nunes, when she was like, come on, hit me. She was doing whatever the fuck she wanted to Felicia Spencer.
See, here's my thing, right? Like she was dominant in the fight other than the second round. But what I will say is that I think after watching that fight, I think Valentina would struggle with somebody who's bigger than her or just stronger than her, I should say. I think that's the only reason why she had a little bit of trouble with Jennifer Maia, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's the only reason why she had so much issue with her is because she looked strong in that fight compared to Valentina, which made me believe I was like, okay, this is why like we won't see Amanda Nunes Valentina right now because like Amanda Nunes is just too big for her. Like Valentina is skilled. She's a skilled fighter. She's my favorite female fighter as well. I don't think she's taking on Amanda Nunes right now because she's just too big. She's just too big, too strong, too good. It will just be too much for her. But Valentina is definitely, somebody who gets a shout out for me because she is one of the best female fighters that I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Dana White was talking about Jessica Andrade might be next for Valentina.
She's going to get beat.
Jessica Andrade?
Yep.
I think so, but it's going to be entertaining, right? Because with Jessica Andrade, she's kind of like she's a bull. She got all that power. Yeah, she don't got the skill set, but she could pull you in with the narrative. That's what I'm going to say, right? Because people could be like, well, she does got crazy power. She knocked out Caitlin Chukagian with a body shot. She made Caitlin like yell like she beat my ass
Okay.
So
Yeah, you got it.
shouts out to Caitlin because she just beat Cynthia Calvillo. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, anytime somebody's hating you that fucking hard, that's not something to sleep on.
No, I think Jessica Andrade. I think she poses a threat, but a puncher's chance of a threat. You know what I mean? Like, there's no area where she could fight her in that she would be more skilled and could beat her in. She just won't. And when I was watching that, I didn't get that type of feeling. Now, when I watched the main event, Figueroa just went in there and just beat Alex Perez. And I mean, it didn't really, there wasn't really much to talk about. The fight took about 2 minutes. Alex Perez threw some kicks, got taken down, and then submitted. And that's pretty much the story of the fight. I would like to see him fight maybe somebody like Cody Garbrandt, or maybe there's a few people actually down there that he could fight, other like Cody Garbrandt being one of them. But it's kind of interesting to see flyweight kind of shape out into a division because for a long time it felt very stagnant.
Well, yes, I agree with you. So his next fight has already been booked, guys. And
There you
he's
go.
he's fighting in December, and he's fighting
Jesus.
against
Oh shit!
Brand.
Who's he?
He's fighting the number one guy in that division.
Oh, he just fought
named
this weekend.
Brandon Moreno. Now,
Wow.
Dana White was like, "Hey, I'm going to keep him in Vegas. He's not flying home to Brazil. We're going to turn him around." And they got that fight done. And you know what's funny about that? This is a little sidetrack. It just goes to show if they want to get a fight done, they could get it done. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
some like the whole Connor shit and Dustin, and they dragged that out. I think it was money things going on
Yep.
behind the scenes. But
Yeah.
now, I mean, back to the topic at hand, though. I just think that Figueiredo, I think he's what people like to see out of like the flyweights. Hey, if these guys are so fast and so skilled, we want to see them finishing. And he's finishing because the way he slapped that guillotine on Alex Perez,
Like
it was
that.
like it was like a clamp. And I was like, wow. And it because Alex Perez, he was landing some kicks, and then he had him against the fence. He was trying to get a takedown, but because of the way Figueiredo was defending, it forced Alex Perez to get a single leg. And of course, he got his back. Figueiredo, he fucking I'm forgetting the proper term for him. Swept him, clamp, boom, he fucking tapped. I was like, man, this guy, he's a killer, man. He's going for the finish. And right now, man, you're right, Nigel. It might have to be like a Cody Garbrandt or something like that, because I don't see anybody being at 125 beating somebody like him, unless Triple C comes back or something like that. But
Well, there's a couple things. I don't think Triple C would go back down to 125. I think that cuts a little bit too hard for him now. I think that if he is to fight anybody, it would be Cody, maybe somebody else on flyweight, and honestly, maybe over time we see DJ come back and try and get some money.
I'm my bad. Go ahead, Spence.
No, I'm saying you think DJ is going to come back to the UFC?
I mean, if he's able to get out of his contract, if he fights out of his contract, why not?
I mean, is he doing good over in ONE FC, or
He's
is he having a
champion.
hard time? Yeah, I mean, then what reason would he leave?
To maybe get more money and fight a name. Like, because I mean,
True.
what names are over in ONE FC? Like, I'll put it like this: name one of his title defenses in ONE FC. One.
I couldn't name one of them, but at the same time, I think the hardest thing for me with seeing DJ coming back to the UFC is the fact that like he left on the heels of like where he could have activated a rematch clause and fought back for his title and everything. He was just like he left everything on the table and said, "Yo, my contract's done. I'm going to ONE FC and that's it."
Well,
So like,
if you remember when he came over to the UFC, it was kind of like a quote unquote trade that they did with Ben Askren.
yeah,
So like there's also that kind of played out as well. I'm not sure as to how many fights DJ had on his contract or if he had any, but I know that played into Ben Askren coming over to the UFC for the few fights that he did.
right. But I'm quite sure like. Was he aware of that? He was aware of that trade prior to it happening, though, right?
I'm sure that he was aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say if he was aware of it, I feel like to some extent that means he has some consent over it. So like, I don't know. I think if he were to come to the UFC, I guess it would. I could see it being for money purposes. I definitely right now because of the climate that we're in. But if he doesn't come back to the UFC, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, he's one of the
Like
best of all time for sure. So
hands
like,
down.
you know, It's
Yeah,
nothing he really has to, take from coming back. He can honestly retire today and be a happy man.
exactly, and play video games and live stream it. Like,
Yeah.
I think at this point, like it's similar to John Jones. Like at this point, you would only be fighting for like something that you're on a mission for. Like it would have to be something personal to you, whether it be money or like some crazy type of fight that ensures that you're like this is like a high risk, high reward type of situation.
Similar to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones.
Yeah. That's a high risk situation for Roy Jones, man. That's not even a high risk situation for Tyson. You
Shit.
saw you saw what Jones had said in that Joe Rogan interview, right?
Where he said
Where
he
he
got hard by fighting.
Nah, I ain't watched that
said
part
that.
of that.
He said that. It was crazy. He
That-
said that
that's the
he said fighting people gives him a little twinkle, quote unquote. His words.
all
Not
right.
mine.
Well, he might be in that same box with Mike then, man. He might be a little off like Mike if that's the case. But like, I do know he did say this. He was like he only was scheduling to fight Mike Tyson because he thought he could fight him in like 4 weeks.
Yep.
He was like, he won't have enough time. When I realized he had enough time, I was like, oh, shoot, I might have made a mistake. And now he's about to pay for it and he may get crucified for it. Just because when he gets into the ring, Mike Tyson's already came out and said the gods of war have summoned him to crushing somebody's spirit. And don't think that he won't crush Roy Jones' spirit this
So,
Thanksgiving
well, here's the thing about that,
or
right?
this Saturday.
When it was first notified and promoted, oh shit, Tyson first round KO. He's gonna, put, Roy Jones in the hospital, in a retirement home, blah blah blah, all sorts of shit. And I agreed with him. I was like, the only difference, I just think that he was gonna put Roy Jones, in a vegetable state. But okay.
I thought you were gonna say in a casket.
No.
I just knew body bag was coming up. I just knew you were going to say in a body bag.
Some form of death.
But no, but I found out this past weekend that it is absolutely an exhibition because I knew some people were like, oh, is it or is it not? No, it's 100% an exhibition belt. 2, there is absolutely no knockouts. So it's supposed to be promoted as like hard sparring. So 1, it's just kind of like, okay, well, that concept takes away if they are going to spend their hard-earned money, it takes away what they want to see. They want to see Mike do his thing, right? No discredit to Roy because Roy is a legend and everybody was fucking with Roy. But Roy, he took 1 too many losses in his career. 2, nobody wants to see a fight where I put it like this. If you want to see 2 legends of boxing fight, you want to see them actually fight. You don't want to see this half-ass, hey, we can't do this, we can't do that shit. We don't want to see that. You're better off just watching Mike Tyson, sparring videos or some shit. I'm not really excited for this fight. I wasn't going to spend my hard-earned money on it. I just wanted to see, highlights and what ESPN probably is going to put up about it. So to me, I just think that this fight now, the gimmick and the mystique of it is gone. If Mike Tyson can't knock him out, why are people getting hype about it?
See, I feel you there, and I would say the same thing, but I also have this question: like, does Mike Tyson know any other gear other than Go?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
think
we've seen him
about
in
it. Like,
exhibition matches before. That's what I will say.
yeah, and he's knocked people down and match. Like, I think Roy Jones was talking about that on the Joe Rogan thing, where Tyson had fought somebody, I think, in like 2004 in an exhibition, and still knocked the person down though he wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
So like, I think what if it was anybody else, I would be right there with you. I would be sitting right next to you, agreeing with you. But because it is Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson is like, he just knows Go. I don't think he knows like, hey, let me just hold. I don't see Mike Tyson being a person saying, hey, let me hold off on these punches. Like, hey, like Mike Tyson doesn't punch. He punches too hard to be like, hey, let me hold off on my punches. So I think we probably are still going to either the fight is going to end early because he's going to hurt Roy to the point of, hey, if you hit Roy anymore, you're going to be breaking the rules. So I think he's going to end up beating Roy to the furthest extent that he can, and he
Man,
probably will break his ribs.
I want to see him knock Roy out. I just do. I want to see that old Tyson. I want to hear all that mythical, legendary, the man of, with God's fist. I want to see that. I want to see that. When I was a little nincompoop, little shitting in my diaper ass nigga. Oh, Mike Tyson, oh boy, if he was in that era, blah, blah. I want to see that. I want to see if it's the real fucking deal. I want to see what he was doing to, Rafael Cordero in those fucking training videos. And I want to see, and shouts out to Roy. I like Roy Jones, Mr. Y'all must have forgot, put my hands behind my back, the knocking niggas out, until niggas was, started knocking them out stiff. I want to
That's when he
see.
had them Bambi legs.
Yeah,
Shit was
yeah,
crazy.
man. He looking like Travis Brown when Derek Lewis was,
Jesus.
beating him up. So I
Jeez.
shouts out to Roy Jones, shouts out to Mike Tyson. They're getting to do something that that they have a passion for. And honestly, guys, I think they should do like a Legends League for like, for real. I think they should. Who are we to tell these
coming back though?
who are we to tell these old MMA fighters and boxers, hey, to stop? You know what I mean? I mean, like, yes, do I want to see Shogun?
Get Chuck Liddell.
Hey, man, I already told you the first mistake he did.
Mistake number one. Yeah.
You already know. You already know mistake number one.
So
Go
if
back
Oscar,
to
if Oscar
yeah.
comes out, who do you want to see in box? That's the question.
whoever could knock him out the hardest. Whoever could make the cocaine come out of his nose.
Yo,
Whoever. That's
that's
what I would love to see. Yeah, were you about to say, Canelo's no longer under Golden Boy?
Yeah,
You're about to see a career surge.
yeah. You're right. Like I think Canelo is gonna end up. I think Canelo's gonna end up doing way better now. I think he's still. I think he's still gonna be running from fighters though. But I put it like this: if there is the chance, I would love to see it. Oscar believe that he can step into the ring with someone like Canelo because he did say something before about like it wasn't out of like conversation.
Hey man, if Oscar believes that, let's champion him. Let's support that.
You saw what happened to Amir Khan, yo. You saw what happened to Amir Khan when he fought Canelo. He ended up turning to the side and got hit with like a left. Canelo flatlined this man like none other. So
I mean, you see what Amir Khan when he fought Terrence Crawford. Hey, Amir, it's time to come out the corner. Nah, man.
It's so demoralizing, yo. Like it
I'm
really
done.
does.
You said what?
Imagine somebody just beating you up so bad that you just don't want to fight anymore. You know what I mean? Like no mas. Like you know what I mean? Like that shit's
Yeah.
crazy.
That
Yeah.
is kind of crazy.
That's when you have those conversations of like the Deontay Wilders talking about let me go out on my shield, because like those type of fighters are the ones that are like, yo, let me go out on my shield when it's like, no, if you want to live longer, like someone like Amir Khan, though he quit in the fight, he's probably mentally better than Sugar Shane Mosley. You know what I'm
So-
saying?
Because I know you've been keeping up with the Deontay Wilder excuses. Do you have any do you have any updates on the latest excuses from Deontay Wilder? Which one holds the most merit to you?
It's gotten way worse than that, bro. Way worse than that. This thing has picked up so much steam to the point they're actually doing an investigation now on Tyson Fury because of this. And they're possibly going to see if Tyson Fury actually cheated or if he didn't. So now apparently like this all this, it's like literally every single day there's like some new shit coming out. Like so apparently one day is this whole thing of Anthony Joshua having this conversation with Deontay Wilder. and because you remember at one time everybody was ducking Deontay Wilder, and then after the Fury fight, everybody wanted to fight him. Then that becomes this whole thing, and now Tyson Fury came out and said, "Yo, I'm not fighting Deontay Wilder in a rematch." Now whoever the powers that be have forced him to fight Deontay Wilder again. But now they're saying they got to do an investigation on Tyson Fury. It's a bunch of it makes no sense. You lost the fight. That's it.
They said
If
they
you
put,
lost the
lean
fight.
in his water or some shit like that.
Exactly. Like you're talking about the water's being spiked. It's like what was it? The water was spiked. The suit was too heavy.
The gloves.
He had a weight in his glove. He didn't eat anything before the fight. He ended up I think what was it? Like he sang Old McDonald like one too many times before he walked out to the ring.
His
like,
trainer.
Yeah, and then had a nerve to say his trainer is like on the inside, and like he fired his trainer because his trainer is a dirty trainer. He's a corrupted trainer.
Yeah.
Like Deontay, honestly, this Deontay Wilder thing has literally showed you how how fragile someone's ego can be. And I know Deontay Wilder can beat me up and probably kill me if he fought me. I know that. That's without question. But the reality is this. Even if you lost, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? You just got to accept it and keep it pushing. If you know you could beat him, hey, you got a rematch clause. Activate the rematch clause and fight. But don't sit around and come up with one excuse, two excuses, three excuses, and next thing you know, there's a litany of excuses that you have that you're not, that's like, okay, now we've invalidated everything that you said. So I'm not even going to go too much deep into this, but...
I think Spence really, I think that loss has really killed him. Absolutely. I think he really believed, before the, surprise excuses came out. I think he really believed in his heart of hearts, this guy can't fuck with me. I don't know why everybody thinks Tyson is the guy. Can't fuck with me. When he goes in the ring, he gets punched up on a little. He's like, damn, this guy is fucking with me. The next, he was right there. He saw the ref wave it off. And I think that kills him that that somebody beat him. And I don't excuse his excuses because they're not right. He just got his ears boxed off of him. And that's it.
Exactly.
But his pride is extremely damaged, and he's just, and it's becoming kind of like delusional, right? Where it's like, nah, he didn't beat me. The crowd was too loud and I couldn't hear my trainer. Nah, he ain't beat me. The stadium lights happened to hit my eye. That's why he got me with the right hook. All sorts of starting to become ridiculous. And that's what just screams to me like, kind of like what you said, fragile ego, that he just can't accept the loss, and he's really like down to the dumps about it. So he's just spewing shit. And, it's a shame because I like Deontay Wilder. I was actually rooting for him. You guys know that night I was rooting for him. Yeah. And I was like, damn, dude, like you lost. You lost fair and fucking square from the eye test. You know what I mean? So, and like you said, if he really wants to prove something, accept the rematch clause, kind of like Anthony Joshua did. Anthony Joshua, he got knocked out. Andy Ruiz put the Street Fighter 2 combo on him. and Anthony Joshua, he got up, he took his ass whooping like a man. He congratulated Andy Ruiz. And he went back to training because he was like, look, I'm going to do what I got to do to win this rematch. And that's what he did. Andy Ruiz showed up like the Blob and, you could tell the nigga was partying nonstop from when he won till the rematch. But
yeah, he was like, what, 40 pounds heavier in the second fight?
Yeah. But Anthony Joshua, you got to give him kudos. You know what I mean? The guy, even though the guy likes to fight, fucking farmers and steel mine workers. Yeah, basically cans.
Rubbing the soot off their eyes before they step into the ring.
Yeah, you gotta chill. You gotta chill.
Haven't seen sunlight for days. Like, hey, you're about to box Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
That's why they set up the Andy Ruiz fight. They were probably like, man, Anthony about to knock this nigga clean the fuck out. And then, next you know, Andy Ruiz, that was his night. He was like, fuck this. This is Cinderella opportunity. At the same time, this goes back to fucking the shitty ass politics and the corrupt, dirty works of boxing. If you have a fucking loss, your career is fucking over. And this is why boxing, they need to switch their shit up, because if you lose, it does not mean your career is over. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that stigma so much. Let's put tomato can, so you could get 100-0. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that. Like, no, fight the best. If you beat the best, you are the best. You know what I mean? This is why I kind of respect Floyd Mayweather, and I also respect Pacquiao. Yes, Pacquiao got knocked out, but Pacquiao, he fought the best. Floyd, he's fighting the best. You know what I mean? Whether you want to be like, oh, he knows how to pick him, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's another conversation for another day. I'm just saying,
Right.
I hate this whole, well, he lost once, the motherfucker is a bum. Like, I hate that.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all. That's a lot of that's generated through the whole thing with Floyd, unfortunately. Because I'm with you on that. Because at the end of the day, when we think of like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and all of these greats from back in those days, or even like the Evander Holyfields and Lennox Lewis's and Roy Jones Jr.'s, of like their prominent eras, these guys all took losses on their way to where they got to at their height, or they have suffered losses during their heights of their careers and bounced back from it. Like, there's a reason why these guys become multiple times world champions. It's for a reason, because they learn how to bounce back from a loss. But someone like Deontay Wilder, I absolutely agree with you. He's at this point, he makes himself, even if there's validity in everything that he was saying, right? If every single excuse was right, and he was telling the absolute truth, right? And we could prove that he was telling the truth, it just takes away from the validity of him as a fighter. Because now people question, like, yo, it does this go into the whole issue when you have those guys, those star athletes that don't pick up the ball until later on in life, and they just become these superstars? Because in his situation, he started boxing because of his daughter, and I think they said within 6 months of him start boxing, he ended up going to the Olympics and then winning gold. So like, that's like one of these things where you go from that to next thing you know, you're like the biggest fighter, one of the biggest heavyweight fighters that's looking to be the heavyweight champion in the near future. And then you get to that point, you get to that Mount Everest or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you also have to realize, I think we have to realize he's never really seen a loss of this magnitude when he had everything on the table, or felt some type of success and then someone took it away from him. So I think for someone like him, he's becoming delusional. He's slowly but surely becoming like what we remember of Ja Rule, where he would walk around with a vanilla folder of like information about 50 Cent, trying to prove to everybody that he wasn't who he was. Like, like talking to old people at the bus stop, talking about, yo, 50 Cent isn't really who he said he is. Here, check these papers out. Like, Deontay Wilder is getting to that point of just being so delusional. It's so ridiculous at this point. Like, there's a couple people that know how to keep it real. Fortunately, I can say that.
Well,
Like,
if we're talking about heavyweight bouts and the truth, we had the main event happen last Thursday.
new outback in the air, that gas or what?
Yeah, we had two of the heavyweights of our time growing up, Gucci and Jeezy, Trap legends, Trap all-stars, step
One
on the
Trap
stage.
God,
And the Trap God step on the stage against the Snowman. Did you guys? I know you watch. I'm not gonna ask y'all. What did y'all think?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Hey,
you want me to
man,
give my
Gucci
thoughts?
fan,
Matter of
like-
fact, Wow, no. Wow's the Gucci fan. I want to hear his
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yes, I am the Gucci man.
the
Gucci man
Gucci
fan. Yes, no, I'm not the Gucci fan.
You're the one and only.
I haven't heard every single Gucci Man song or mixtape, but I've heard a lot of Gucci music. But out of us three, yes, I am considered the Gucci Man fan. Now, Gucci Man versus
Aficionado.
Yes.
okay, so
You're the Gucci aficionado.
so
I like
Gucci
that.
so Gucci versus Jeezy. Let me start off saying classic battle, probably the best versus battle I've seen. And I've only seen two. The other one was Snoop Dogg versus DMX.
Okay.
But according to the numbers, right, it broke all the records. It was the highest viewed, highest streamed, blah blah blah. So shouts out to two guys. Now this one is the shit to me because it's like when motherfuckers was living in a time where Tupac and Biggie was at odds with each other. We were in the time where, like, yeah, we got 50 and Ja Rule, but I don't think 50 and Ja Rule was on the magnitude like of Gucci and Jeezy. Now, I understand there was street shit involved in 50 and Ja Rule as well, but for some reason, like the Gucci and Jeezy thing turned into like a like some type of folklore, mythical tale type shit. You know what I mean? So to me, the narrative with that was a bit bigger. And I mean, once again, the number showed when everybody tuned in. So with that being said, yes, I'm a Gucci fan. Yes, I listened to the Trap God classics when they dropped, but Jeezy won that battle. And this is coming from the Gucci fan. And I predicted Jeezy was going to win too when we were all talking about our predictions. I think Jeezy just had the better range of songs, you know what I mean? Because not only he played the street shit, but he played, the inspirational shit. But he also played some shit that you could listen to in the club. You know what I mean? So I felt like Jeezy had a good range of songs. Shouts out to his DJ because I heard the DJs helped out with the lists. I felt like there was some songs that Gucci played that I was kind of like, dog, you should have never played that. Like, for example, the Bruno Mars shit. Not saying that song is a bad song because it's not. But when you talk about two trap legends going at each other, why are you playing Bruno Mars, bro? Why are you playing that? And he played, and it's not that he played the fact that he played the song with the Migos. He played the wrong Migos song. You know what I mean? He played a song that was for the women, stuff. And when he didn't play the real hard, the Migos where they were rapping and you could hear the chains dangling in the microphone. Migos,
and he has a few of those songs too. So
yeah. I mean. But I think that's because I really do think this whole thing was really Gucci finally having the chance to really be in front of Jeezy for once, right? And being able to be like, yo, me and you are finally in front of each other, and I'm going to show you why I'm better than you, right? And I think because this was like a real ego game at the end of the day. Though many will say like Jeezy took a very passive way or taking the high road. There's a lot of shots that a lot of music that he was playing. There's shots that are taken at Gucci as well, right? So
yeah.
So like I think this was more of like a thing of just arrogance and like what Gucci just playing like when he played the Bruno Mars song, he didn't just start playing it. He was like, yo, you got to stop playing this old music. You keep playing this old music. It's 2020, man. You playing 2005. It's 2020. Keep playing. You playing old records. Play some of my new stuff. Like, it's just those digs. I think it was just those digs that he wanted to take at Jeezy because, I mean, at the end of the day, you and this man had legit beef. Legit people have died. And I'm not even going to repeat the words of Gucci Man, but it's just, he just said he was smoking on an op pack that night. So, like, because of that, like you just know this was like something that you just knew was a lot more of just ego also. And I think that's why he was just he picked wrong songs. I do agree. But it's just like certain things I think Gucci was more in the space of like, yo, I'm going to say what I want. He started the whole thing off. He cut Stacey Abrams off and was like, yo.
He did, that shit was funny.
Yeah, like she's like, he's like, all right, rap game hard, dope game easy. This the first round of Gucci Man versus Jeezy. Like, and then just goes off to say Jeezy's a pussy or whatever. So it's like, you hear that and you realize like, yo, Gucci came with all intentions of like disrespect. He played nothing but diss records to Jeezy the whole night.
Yeah, that shit
The
was funny,
whole
man.
night.
But you
Hey,
know, go ahead, Law.
I, my bad, Nigel. I I just want to say, I think like after that night, there's two things that people should walk away from. One, that was there the clone shit can go to bed now. You know, that's Gucci from years ago from now. You know, he's of course he's matured and grown, but as you can see, that's the same Gucci. And two, I think Gucci Man is the realest rapper in the rap game. And I'm not talking about for like, of course, you got street niggas, and I believe Jeezy, you know, he was a trapper too and all that. But what I'm saying is like, this is the only man where you he's talking about selling drugs. You can look up public knowledge. Nigga got hemmed up for selling drugs. He talked about killing somebody. Public knowledge, nigga really killed somebody. He, you know,
Told him to send 3 more. He'll put
Yeah.
them all in the dirt. It's
you know,
crazy.
this thing, he's really rapping about shit that he's actually done. You know, he's really rapping about all the shit these rappers be rapping about nowadays. I'm not saying that some of them telling the truth, but not a lot of them are. Gucci's Gucci's the only guy from way back early 2000s from now is really telling the truth. Now he's not no super murderer or nothing. He's come out in
Jesus.
interviews and was like, he's come out in interviews and he's like, hey, look, this shit was off of self-defense. But you know, I'm just saying, man, like, and when he was face to face with the guy that he had the most heat with, he didn't give a fuck. He was like, look, I'm gonna play these diss songs and you're gonna live with it. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So
Yo,
like,
listen,
what? Go ahead, Law. Or well, I guess let me say what I was gonna say. So one thing that I realized, like after everything was said and done, was just that like there's definitely some animosity left in the room. Like they're not just like, oh hey, we're gonna go and sit at the club and throw money together. It's like, nah, that's not happening anytime soon. Like they clearly they were civil enough to make a business decision. And that's what I think it was. I think Gucci saw dollar signs and he was like, we're going to go and make this money. It's a good opportunity for me to make some money. That's what they did. They performed so icy together. And then after that, they went home or they went to the club. If you saw the clips that Gucci was riding around with people outside the car with guns, like, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't sound like somebody who thinks that he's on like, friendly turf. But I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know because I don't know anything about street shit. But what I will say is that I know I don't walk
that sound
around
like a
like
dig.
It did sound like a dig, right?
that. No, I'm not. It's not a dig at anybody. I'm just saying, look, like we all might joke around and all that, but none of us are out in the streets, living, any type of
Yeah.
life or trying to portray ourselves to be something we're not. Like it's not like that. We enjoy
Very
the
true.
music. We enjoy the entertainment. We are not participating in any of that shit. I'm not. So it's one of those things where I see it and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's over there. I'm recording a podcast. And that's it.
But when I'm done the podcast,
That's when the trapping starts.
listen, man, rap game easy, man.
What were you about to say? What were you about to say, though, Smith?
Nah, I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to this whole thing with Jeezy and Gucci, I agree. Like, I think there's still tension in the room. Some people were trying to like crucify Jeezy in this whole thing of like, how could you even be able to like extend the olive branch or even willing to accept the olive branch from someone like Gucci after everything that he said and did during during the whole verses. But it kind of lets you show like, hey, where we stand right now with everything, because even Gucci was saying like, yo, this is bigger than you and I. You know what I mean? Like this is more about like King Von, Pop Smoke, X, Y, and Z. So I think from that standpoint, like I understood the high road that he was taking, because like we all do know like Gucci and Jeezy are like when it comes to like rap beefs, they are one of like in our generation, they are one of like the top rap beefs next to the Ja Rules and 50 Cent type of beefs. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when you so seeing something like that, you say like, yo, it's amazing to see them both together, but it's like hopefully it's a sign for something to come. But I mean, I'm not sure overall. Like we never know how things work in hip hop. Like, how did you guys feel actually when at after after Gucci played the truth?
I was blown away, right? Because like I know he was dissing him and shit, but the truth is like the ultimate. Like, hey, look, fuck you. I don't care about you. If it comes down to gun violence, so fucking be it. Type. That's what that song is like. You know what I mean? And when he played that shit, I could tell Jeezy he wasn't. I mean, obviously he's not gonna feel it, but I could tell that one probably struck a nerve for him because like, he kept looking over at Gucci when he was performing that fucking song,
At the end
and
of every bar, he emphasized every
yeah,
end of every bar.
and all the comments. I seen Chief Keef going crazy about it. Other Chicago rappers like 600 Breezy, G Herbo, and there was people who was like, "Yo, like this is fucking crazy," and I'm just saying, like the nigga he don't got no fear. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't think he walk around as like some type of super murderer or nothing like that. But like obviously that Jeezy thing, that shit really like, yo, this nigga try to get me killed, so fuck him. And you could tell that's how it was.
If you would have told me in January, like, hey, Nigel, at some point in time, Gucci is going to perform The Truth with Young Jeezy in the same room, and Young Jeezy's going to say, all right, I'd be like, there's no way that's going to happen. But here we are, 2020. It's weird. It's just the way it is. One thing that I found interesting is that Gucci or Jeezy spoke about the amount of real estate he had, and people apparently are not a fan of people owning real estate. Well, nah, let me, because that's not exactly what happened.
Nah, I was about to say, don't spend, don't
Yeah,
do those.
I'm not going to
Don't
spin the
spend
narrative
it.
like that. But I just think
You
it's
on your
funny
Tubby
that
Man vibes.
nah, but like I do think it's one of those things where it's like I think that's one of the biggest flexes that you can say. It's like, hey, like I own a lot of shit here. It's like, and don't get me wrong, having 500 or $5 million worth of jewelry around you is a big flex too. But me personally, I take that real estate.
Well,
Yeah.
here's my thing about the real estate jewelry comment, right? Anybody with common sense, anybody who's trying to achieve success in their life and they're working hard and grinding hard, like us three, we know, hey, I'm gonna take real estate 10 out of 10 times over some damn jewelry. We know that, and I think that we don't need to deep dive into that. What I didn't care for was like how people were like, "Oh, this shows the difference between a man and a boy, and a real G versus somebody who's just stuck in the streets." And I'm kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a reason why, you know. Granted, Jeezy, he let it be known, hey, I got real estate, but you can't be like Gucci don't got no real estate. There's a reason why this nigga's still getting money all these years, just like Jeezy's still getting all money all these years.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's to me, it don't make it super duper deep. They're both talking shit to each other, and Jeezy just had a good rebuttal to him. And that's how I took it. It was an entertainment thing. It wasn't like, oh, use this as an example as, you should go with Jeezy versus Gucci. Like, don't do that. I'm like, because I'm the way I see it, I'm like, these are two successful black guys who both came from the hood. I'm like, and they're both obviously doing something right to the point that you and millions of other people are sitting there and fucking watching them on this event on social media. You know what I mean? So I feel like don't make it seem like Jeezy is this upper echelon, super rich guy, and Gucci is just a guy that just touched his first million. It wasn't that deep to me. I didn't like how people were trying to make it into this whole, Gucci small mind and Jeezy big mind. I'm like, no, they were just talking shit back and forth, and Jeezy just had a good rebuttal.
Yeah, his rebuttal was good because it definitely had Gucci shut up. Gucci got quiet for a quick second. I will say that, but like,
And yeah, fair game. And you know, why not? I'd shut up too. If I was like, yo, look at me, nigga. I got, you know, I got pissy diamonds on my neck. Look at my teeth, all diamond.
He's
And
like,
you're
you
like,
can
yeah,
bring
nigga.
those in one of my 4 houses.
And I'd be like, hey, fuck you, nigga. You know, that's I couldn't say much. And you know, so shouts out to Jeezy for that. But it wasn't this ultra deep moment. Oh, Jeezy's this, you know, he's number one in the Forbes list, because we all know he's not. So I don't think they should have made it into that.
I mean, but you guys do know the real reason why he was saying that stuff, though, right? And it had everything to do with like how with the whole issue with their beef, where like, because Gucci put, what was it? Jeezy put, what was it, $10,000 bounty on the chain for the Gucci chain. So Gucci saying, "Yo, my outfit cost $10,000." This is like a conspiracy theory of what he was referring to. Of like, "Yo, my outfit cost $10,000. You put up 10 bands for my chain. I'm still icy. $5 million worth of jewelry." So I think that's all. Because I think he said all of this, and then shortly after that played the truth. So like, or played another record dissing Jeezy or like his homeboy or whatever. So like, I mean, I ain't. To me, I don't really look at it that serious, because the reality is more than likely the people that are sharing their opinions of like what you should be or X, Y, and Z, more than likely there's somebody that doesn't make the same amount of money as them, right? You can't, I feel like you don't even have the right to really speak on another person's money, especially when you don't make the same money that they're making, for one.
Exactly.
Like if you're making 20 times as much as me, why should I be speaking on how much money you should be making, right? And granted, there's other conversations when it comes to like taxes and all that stuff. That's a whole nother conversation for another day in terms of politics. But when it's just like, yo, in terms of conversation, like Gucci's not listening to you, because clearly he's made himself successful enough that he can buy $5 million worth of jewelry and not have a problem. Or
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, it's not really that big of a deal. I think, to me, people are, in the words of Dr. Umar, majoring in the minor things, where they should be focusing more on how good of a battle we had with Gucci versus Jeezy. Because like we said, 2020 has been something we've never seen before, and I think this was like probably the icing on the cake for the trauma filled year that we've all bonded on. If you really think about it, like, this has been nothing. 2020 has been nothing but trauma bonding for the whole world to some capacity. And now with the Gucci versus Jeezy thing, it was just a breath of fresh air for the culture
Well,
for once.
here's what I'll say, right? Like, you can have your opinions about the battle, and you can have your opinions about Gucci and Jeezy and whatever, but if you're watching this battle from your basement, don't say anything about him and his $5 million chain. That's simple as that.
Hey man.
I mean, but DJ Academics live in his mom's basement, though. You know what
Don't
I'm
say
saying?
anything
You
about
know?
his chain. But you know what? He's a successful dude, though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, he,
I'm just
you know what's
fucking
funny?
around, man.
You know what's funny though?
I'm
The
just
Tubby Man. Oh, I was gonna say the Tubby Man. He didn't say anything negative about it. It was just the random people who, like you said, they're not making nowhere near the amount of money as those two guys are, having this deep insight, a thought process, blah blah. And it's like you said, like, hey, you're not on here to see what's how did they become successful and who's more successful. You're on here to watch a battle of music and to see what kind of drama might pop off. That's why you're really watching it. You're not watching it to give this whole fucking, oh well, there's a deeper meaning to all. Like, come on, shut up and just watch it. Be entertained. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's I just didn't care for it. I thought it was stupid. I'm like, niggas is always trying to, make shit deep when it's just entertainment, man. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely when it comes to like these type of groups, not groups, but when you have these type of battles where when it's two rivals, people are always going to nitpick for something that's like, oh, this person said this, so this is why this person's better than this person, primarily based off of bias. At the end of the day, like, I had a whole conversation about this battle the day of, when I was at the barbershop, and we all were just debating about it from whether or not Gucci was, because most people were like, oh, they don't even listen to Gucci, and I'm like, yo, listen, Gucci can actually win this. I was wrong, and I was wrong in my guesstimations of it, but it's just one of those things where like I think the rivalry between the two fueled any possible conversation someone can have because anything that revolved around Gucci and Jeezy this week was just like or last week was uh just just a whirlwind of things and it's still bleeding over into the holiday weekend. Like I've listened to this battle probably like maybe twice or about two and a half times so far. So like it's interesting. Like who do you guys expect? Who are you guys looking for in the next verses though? Because they're looking at it. It seems like this might be the year. This season might be like a beef season.
Well, I know 50 said that he would do a versus with a game, and that would be a good one. I don't know if it would be, the WrestleMania classic is Gucci versus Jeezy, but I think it would be a good one to watch. Another one I see people, you know, campaigning for, which is something that we actually mentioned a few podcasts ago, was Drake versus Kanye. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
not
I
trying to
don't
see that one.
I don't think Drake would ever do it though. In my opinion, I don't. I believe Kanye would do it if he has some stipulations thrown his way, but I just don't see Drake doing it at all. And I don't know why. I'm not going to be come up with some theories. I just don't see him taking it now. Maybe 10, 20 years down the road when he's not an artist anymore. But
I mean, like when I think about it, like I don't really want to see 50 Cent his name brought up unless he's actually serious about doing this because like I feel like every time 50 Cent is brought up when it comes in regards to verses, it's always just him trolling for a little bit and then it's like, all right, we move on to the next person. So me personally, like I think if I had to I would want to see another beef, maybe another southern beef, but I'm not sure off the top of my head which one I would want to actually see. You know what I mean?
Dolph, young Dolph
That would
versus Yo
actually be
Gotti.
interesting. I'd watch that.
That'd never happen.
No. Somebody might
That
die.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
one would
say.
never happen.
Yeah.
You think Dolph is gonna play 100 shots, and that's gonna be like like he's gonna play 100 shots, and it's just gonna be a very that I was talking to someone about that idea of a battle in Fantasyland, and like me and Pearson both came to the conclusion because I it was a friend of mine that lives out in Tennessee, and we were like, yo, they were like, yo, listen, there's no way Dolph there's no way Dolph and Gotti could be in the same building. That shit would be over in 2 minutes. We saw how this Gucci and Jeezy battle, it took like they didn't get to the stage till 45 minutes later. So like if you have someone like Dolph and Gotti, no. And then you'll have someone like Black Youngster and all
Youngster.
of them there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know Black
But
Youngster's gonna be rapping half the songs if he
it,
can.
yeah, I was gonna say he's the real X factor in the whole thing. I don't think Yo Gotti would be so quick to pull a gun out and shoot. But Black Youngster, as you've seen for multiple videos on social media, it doesn't seem like this guy has a care in the world. He's looking for any way he can use his gun. You give him the slightest reason to, he's quick to pull it out. And we could have a whole conversation about the guy. I think the guy has mental illness, but with that being said, though, man,
Jesus.
like that battle would be that if you thought Gucci GC was bad, that battle, hey, like you might see motherfuckers need to get security involved.
Yeah, I mean, I know one battle I thought the same would have been, but of course, luckily these two rappers had already squashed the beef at this point. But was French Montana and Jim Jones was another one, which I I think it would be nice. I think that would be like maybe a New York one, but it wouldn't be something I would be like too pressed for. Only reason I would love to see it was just because of like anybody familiar with the beef between Jim Jones and French Montana stems from the whole Max B thing. So I think that would be interesting. But at the end of the day, the reality is French Montana will win just because the hits that he has are bigger songs that actually ring off in the clubs. So which is going to be hard for when you playing in that arena. It'd be hard for Jim to compete, but other than that, there's not much in terms of battles that I'm looking for right now. That one would be one of them at least though.
Hey man, French would wash the gym. Honestly, I don't even think that's much of a battle. Um, with that being said, though, like I'm not a big fan of this whole versus shit anyway. You know, for the listeners that have been fucking with us for a minute, they already know. Like, hey, I mean, Big Cozy, you
Come
know,
on.
he don't watch the versus shit unless it's important. Hey, where were you when Gucci and Jeezy went on stage with each other? Type shit. So
Right.
I I kind of agree that hey, I'm not really looking forward to nothing, but though 50 Cent versus the game would be one I would tune into if that is real.
Like for 50 Cent, for me, if it's 50 Cent, it would just be 50 Cent and Ja Rule. That's the only way I could watch 50
Oh God.
in one of these. 50 and Ja Rule or 50. I can do 50 in game just because I was a big fan of the beef that came from that. But other than that, nah. Like, nah. Other than that, like I wouldn't want to see 50 versus Ja. Not Ja, but Fat Joe or like Jada Kiss or nothing like that. Like,
I agree.
yeah.
Well, since it's Thanksgiving when the listeners are listening to this, um, is there anything you guys want to say that you're thankful for?
Yeah.
What?
I, I'm
Just
think I
everything okay in life? Is
ev-
everything okay?
I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for my beautiful daughter. I'm thankful for her beautiful mother. I'm thankful, for the beautiful opportunities that God has blessed me with. I'm thankful for, my homeboys that I'm doing the podcast with. You know what I mean? And I'm
Nice.
thankful for all the fucking dimwits and has-beens that and all the fucking losers, and I gotta keep coming at your motherfucking head tops.
Oh
I'm
God.
thankful for you
Jeez.
guys because you keep Cozy on top of his motherfucking game. And there ain't no big Cozy without no motherfucking junkie. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
I know
God.
I can make the junkies come out. So shouts out to all the junkies and shouts out to the fucking unbelievable, absolutely bad, stupid ass losers. So thank you all, because without you, there isn't me. And without me, there isn't this. So that's what I'm thankful.
All right,
Jeez.
Spence.
Well, I can't even follow up that honestly. I'm just gonna keep it at this. I'm thankful for a lot of things. I mean, it's not much that's like out of the ordinary of life. Money, family, all of the good stuff, air, all of that. Like I heard someone was praying to a fireplace one day.
Praying to
It
a
was a very interesting
fireplace.
story. Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation I overheard. But yeah, like shout outs to fire nonetheless. But yo, did you guys actually this is totally off
Well,
subject.
well, hold on, wait.
But
Let me say what I'm thankful for.
I
Because
I
I'm
mean,
thankful for some shit too.
I mean, we can always get back to you. You know, what I mean, we'll put what you're thankful for in the notes, and we'll just skip it right now. All right.
That'll just
If
be
you
a
want to hear
separate
what Naj was
podcast.
thankful for, just check the notes.
Leave a
He's not
comment
even
if
gonna
you want to hear what I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, that's how we'll do it. That's a nice way. That's a nice call to
Yeah,
action,
yeah.
y'all.
Hey, listeners, DM Nigel if you want to know what he's thankful for.
Under this episode, right? Just type. I need you to put the emojis with the praying hands.
Well, nah. I guess before you say what you were gonna say though, like I am thankful for a few things. This year has been challenging and rewarding, and I would say probably on a 50% of both. Um, it's been an interesting year. It's been a lot has happened for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of death. I've seen not a lot of death, personal and worldwide. Endings of relationships, beginnings of relationships, endings of jobs, beginnings of jobs, a lot of new things, a lot of old things that have came back. It's been a lot, and I'm thankful for my friends, my family, the podcast, and for the Steelers being 10-0, because you can't forget to shout them out at the end because we're 10-0. So
I knew there was a catch to this whole thing. Had to be a catch to this whole thing, man.
Do we have anything else to tell the listeners other than to follow us at Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram and Advise Highly on Twitter?
Yes. Listeners, we're very thankful for you, because without you guys, without an audience or nothing like that, there isn't no Highly Advised to follow. There ain't no Highly Advised one to follow. There ain't, there would be nothing entertaining in your life. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. We're very grateful for you. But on a real serious note, I'm gonna get away from our pro wrestling shit. On a real serious note, if you can help out, and this just goes for anybody, if you can help out during like Thanksgiving, Christmas, or any holidays, and I'm gonna repeat this when it comes close to Christmas time, most definitely do it. You know what I mean? We all come from like humble beginnings. We're all peaceful individuals. You know what I mean? Like, we like to joke around and shit, but like really, we like to help one another if it's possible. We definitely like to see other people, happy, and we don't want to see anybody down bad or nothing like that. And Thanksgiving, yes, is a great time for your family to come together and eat and yada yada, but it's also good to make sure that other people can eat with their families as well. Or if somebody doesn't have a family, make sure that they could just eat instead of being down bad where they can't eat. So definitely, we're very thankful for everybody tuning in, and make sure that everybody just treats one another kindly, for the holidays. So shouts out to you guys for listening.
Yeah, shout outs to you guys. Shout outs to all the listeners. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys, especially. Hopefully everybody was able to enjoy themselves. You busting it up, eating food, Hopefully either you listening to us after your stomach's full and everything like that, and the holiday season is just passed, or you listening to us while you getting yourself together and fixing the food for the day. Either way, it's a blessing nonetheless. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say. I mean, I will say I didn't know MGK was like a rock artist now. That's something I wasn't familiar with. So, like, outside of that, that was probably like the most mind blowing thing I've noticed. I found out today. I didn't know he went #1 on Billboard this year, out of the top 100 apparently, for like some rock music with Travis Barker. So, other than that, like that's really it. Like, there's not much. I mean, that was like just the most mind blowing thing I've seen for the week. So,
man, shouts out to him for that versatility.
Yeah, yeah, you can call it that.
Shouts out to Dover, McKeesport, Clairton, Newark. You have been highly advised. We will see you guys next week.
What was that, a sponsor ad or something?
Nah, where I'm from, my mom's from, my dad's from.
Oh, okay.
You said like it was one thing, bro. I was like, hold on. I'm like, yo, fam, what? I'm like, hold on. Are you getting ad money that we don't know about?
Nah, shouts out to those places. They know who they are. Leave a comment if y'all heard this.
He talking to sponsors. That's what it is.
Are we ready to end the show here?
Yo,
you not low. I know you're tight.
I mean, imagine all the people from Dover hearing that. Yay! He said me. He said Dover.
Shouts out to Dover, man. Like, they know who they
Dover.
are. Shouts out to
said Dover.
I want to see y'all on the listeners. I haven't seen any listeners from McKeesport. I haven't seen any listeners from Clairton.
Like, he said McKeesport. I'm from there.
Yeah, hell yeah. I want that.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah.
Wow. All right, y'all. You've been highly advised. We'll see y'all next week.
You've been highly advised.
You've been highly advised.